Hi, I'm Jaanus from Hone. Let's look at the basic operation of Hone based on a simple iOS app. So here I have a simple app which lets you roll a dice. Let's just run it and see what it does. You see that I can tap on the dice and it shows me a result after a couple of rolls. Let's look at the user interface. You'll notice that there's just one container view and a couple of simple views inside it. And the code for the main view controller is less than 100 lines. There's just some basic user interface connections, setting up the tap and motion, gesture handlers, and then the dice rolling behavior, which is based on a simple timer block. Let's prepare this app for Hone so that our designers can polish the interface. Usually you would have to sit down with a designer and do the changes right in Xcode and make a new build of the app to test each little change. But for this app, I discussed with the designer the parameters that they would like to fine-tune with Hone. And so now we will expose these values from the app so that the designers can polish the app on their own with the Hone tool. To do this, we'll put some extra code into the app. You'll notice that I already have added the Hone iOS library to this app. First, we'll add some startup code that initializes the Hone library once the app starts. Next, we'll expose some individual values in the user interface. First, let's create a helper function to keep the code clean. Now we'll expose a couple of values. We'll first expose the font and color for the two labels. Then we'll expose some background colors. And finally, we'll expose the diameter changing for the circle. So note how most of the connections are just one line, but in case of the circle, we want to change both the size and the corner radius so we can run a custom code block when a new value arrives. So finally, let's expose some animation values. You'll notice that these are hard-coded here, so let's just replace them with the Hone connected values. So when we run the code, we'll see that nothing has changed. That's because we have connected the values and exposed them, but we haven't really modified any values with the tool yet, and we're going to do that in the next step. Let's look at the designer side of things. You'll notice that there's no Xcode running anymore. When you're working with Hone in the designer role, you don't need Xcode or any other engineering tools. You just need the Hone tool and the app running on your device. So let's open the DICE project in Hone. Since we created this project recently, there's nothing visible on the tool yet. However, as soon as we connect to the running app, something cool happens. So Hone knows which values have been exposed from code and shows those in the tool in a designer-friendly format. So let's just go ahead and start modifying the interface and the behavior. So let's maybe change the circle a bit smaller. And let's change the animation count so it seems to run a bit faster even though it's taking the same time. And also let's change the background to the whole app to neon green. Well, maybe that wasn't such a great idea. So what you can always do in Hone is just go back one step with a regular undo. So after you're done tweaking the app this way, you can publish the changes back into the project and the final shipping app will just use these values.